Hi, well, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be exploring this intriguing concept of user delight. Upon hearing user delight, you might instantly think of delightful animations or clever microcopy that's brimming with personality and brand tone. And while these elements aren't incorrect, they often skim the surface of user delight. So in this video, we'll delve into the essence of what user delight is. We're going to go ahead and dispel common misconceptions, and we're going to discuss how we should aspire for user delight to be an outcome and not just this kind of superficial design feature or quality. So by the time this video is done, I hope to kind of get into questions or answer questions like this. First of all, I'd like to ask, why do UX designers analogize the concept of Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the pyramid of users' needs and user delight? Next, we'll go ahead and answer, what are the different categories of user delight? A third question I'd like to address is how can focusing too much on user delight lead to a product that is frustrating to use? And then finally, what are some potential pitfalls to avoid when pursuing user delight? So what exactly is user delight? User delight is the positive emotional impact a product or service creates by surpassing user expectations and facilitating pleasant interactions. It's not just about usability and functionality, it's about creating memorable and enjoyable experiences that foster brand advocacy and loyalty. So I'd like to call out a few key words. Emotional. A lot of times we don't really use this word a lot, but again, it's good to highlight this. The next word is surpass expectations. This means you exceed, you go beyond, and maybe even surprise. And then the third thing that I'd like to call out is foster brand advocacy. So again, to illustrate what user delight is, we really need to see it in the concept of Maslow's hierarchy. So Maslow's hierarchy is this kind of famous kind of model to illustrate how psychological needs kind of get met for us to kind of reach self-actualization. So for many years, UX professionals have analogized the journey of users' needs to this Maslow's hierarchy. So going back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we find there's physiological needs, and this forms the base. They're basic. They include eating and surviving and having shelter. And as we ascend, we encounter safety and belonging and love and self-esteem. And then finally, there's this kind of like topmost tier, which is self-actualization. And this is symbolizing the realization of one's full potential. This hierarchy embodies an individual's journey towards self-fulfillment. So the users we design for, they embark on a similar journey. They interact with a product aiming to achieve their goals effectively and efficiently. And this is where user delight really comes into play. So much like Maslow's hierarchy, user needs also range from basic to advanced. A functional product forms the foundation, and it's followed by reliability, mirroring safety needs. And as we ascend, we find that a product should be usable, intuitive, and it should be leading to a proficiency and empowering users to excel. So at the top of our pyramid, we reach, quote, self-actualization. In UX, we could call this user delight. It's about creating memorable, enjoyable experiences that exceed expectations, empowering our users to achieve and excel their goals. So as we strive to kind of create these kind of delightful experiences, we need to remember Maslow's hierarchy. It's a journey that requires meeting the basic needs first. And this is a big mistake that people make in pursuing user delight. It's not just about the capstone, but it's also remembering that it rests upon layers of many different kind of foundational items. So I want to bring you to the next thing. I think sometimes user delight, we think of it in a very narrow way, and I wanted to kind of broaden your understanding of what user delight is. So I'm going to give you 5 categories of user delight. The first one is usability delight, and this involves creating products that aren't just easy to use, but also enjoyable to interact with, intuitive interfaces, clear instructions, seamless navigation, and that really eliminates the frustrations and enhance the user experience. So as an example, Airbnb's website it has a mobile app, and it's known for their intuitive booking process and finding and reserving accommodations effortlessly and delightfully. So the next category of user delight is aesthetic delight. A visually pleasing product can evoke many positive emotions. And this can be achieved through appealing color schemes. It could be a great gradient that just feels happy, attractive typography, engaging animations, thoughtful layouts, maybe with a lot of white space, reflecting the brand's focus design that's sleek, minimalistic, and visually appealing. I think Apple is a good example of this. Surprise delight. Unexpected positive features or interactions can delight users. And this might be something like an Easter egg, an engaging animation, a thoughtful personalized message. So Google, for instance, often surprises us with its playful doodles, making interaction memorable. And then the fourth one is personalization delight. Users all appreciate a product that seems to know them. It's got personalized recommendations. It remembers their preferences. There's content that's based on our behavior, and it can kind of create this familiarity and comfort, resulting in a delightful experience. So Grammarly is a tool that offers personalized feedback, and it really adapts to your writing style and goals, and it makes you feel like you have this kind of personal writing assistant. So the fifth one is value-added delight, and this involves going beyond basic functionalities and offering users more than what they really expect. It could be educational content, extra features, rewards, loyalty. So Amazon Prime is a great example of this, where they offer free 2-day shipping, access to movies and music and books. And so this approach is sort of this antithesis to the superficial delight and it really requires even a deep company-wide commitment to customer experience, because this can't be achieved from having the support of the company from all different levels and areas and disciplines applying user delight. Again, going back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, again, we really need to remember that all the higher level needs can only be addressed when there's a sufficient amount that's achieved on the base levels. So Jared Spool, he really makes the point that a product really needs to be functional, reliable, and usable. And if we don't really have this, it can kind of lead to this superficial, kind of pleasing layer that actually ultimately can be this kind of frustrating experience. So he kind of likens it that user delight needs to be sort of thought of as a cherry on top. Cherry on tops are great, but if you don't have the pie and any of the other kind of substantial layers, then I don't think anyone wants to eat that cherry on the top. So again, it should not eclipse the functionality, usability, and simplicity. The second point of application is it's an outcome, not a feature. And so what that means is, regardless of how stunning a visual design is, how charming your microcopy is, we have to realize that we're not our user. We're only aspiring to create experiences that we can only know if we user test. And so we may have received countless compliments on our design. It could even come from other designers, the compliments. We may have won design awards. But if the user experience is confusing because of one little label, then that kind of shows that the base layers of your experience aren't supporting the higher layers of user delight. The third point of application is sustainability and consistency. So there might be this kind of temptation to create a unique, embellished micro interaction, but it really needs to be remembered that it can't be inconsistent across the digital product, the digital property. So, I want to give you this example. One time I had this UX director, and he really insisted that we had to be so cautious about the design precedents that we set. And a good example is icons. I think the design team had a tendency to want to make everything more visual. And so oftentimes you would take a list of items and turn them into icons. And what ended up happening is we ended up creating icons that were ridiculously complex concepts. And you just realize there's no way to create this kind of icon for this complex concept in a way that truly is intuitive. And so you just kind of realize you've painted yourself into this design corner. So there you go. Hopefully this broadens your understanding of what user delight is. If you found this video informative or interesting, please like it, comment below, or subscribe if you haven't done so already. This channel features content like this that comes out about every 2 weeks. I hope to see you on the next episode. My name is Ken, and you're watching Mastering UX.